What's up, everybody? Welcome. It is Thursday. This is Mr. Straight Facts Show. I am Mr. Straight Facts. Let's get into today. So last night, I just had a feeling that this big, crazy bill, I call it broke back or broke back bill, but broker, and brokest bill passed. Yep, passed today. And Republicans celebrated the pending deaths of many of their constituents. Now, I say pending because in order to get some of these people to get behind it, because, you saw Lisa Murkowski in the Senate. You saw Josh Hawley and many others. It was at least 8 of them that would not vote for this bill because they know their constituents in their cities, their states, are going to be harmed tremendously by the health care. Medicare, Medicaid. Remember, Donald Trump said just yesterday, when these lawmakers came to visit him, the Republican lawmakers came to visit him, he literally said that he was telling them that you're going to still be in your positions just as long as you don't touch the Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security. That was Donald Trump's message to them. Don't touch that and you'll be fine. While they looked at him dumbfounded. That's exactly what we're touching. So how are we getting around that? Some of the most idiotic shit ever. This man just told them, it's going to be all right. You're going to win anyway. I'm going to back you. And they came back in the dead of night while Senator or Hakeem Jeffries spoke for damn near 9 hours. Another black man breaking a record of talking a lot. And congrats to him for that. But there's nothing they can do. At this moment, lawsuits, money spent on advertising to get people who already fucking know that a percentage of Americans fucked up to send out videos to tell us, hey, this percentage of y'all fucked up. We know that. So it really ain't nothing that's changing. And it sure ain't going to change the ones who were stupid enough to vote for this. They're not going to change because they don't want to ever take responsibility for their actions. So Donald Trump, House Speaker Mike Johnson, got together. And if you saw his little smug celebration speech, and then they played the YMCA at the end, somebody tell them that the YMCA is about a bunch of gay men. They can't stand gay shit, but they always in that gay shit. That's why that the gay site broke when Republicans were in their Republican National Convention. The gay site broke because a lot of them are repressed gay people that just can't come out because they got to keep that hate for them strong. So therefore they can make a lot of money off these rich people. But a big majority of them have to be gay in order to break the gay site every time they go to a state and there's the entire Republican Party going. It ain't like there's 1 million people showing up and filling these places up. So how these sites, which literally can house tens of million people on it, every time Republicans go and get together, the gay site breaks. But they're out here all hateful toward gay people while being gay. Mike Johnson watching porn with his son. Christian, he says. This man gets out and boasts and brags about this new, big, beautiful bill, they call it. then calls Democrats, like basically they don't know what they're talking about. They're saying all these things are going to happen. They're not going to happen. You want to know how devious the Republicans are? If any MAGAs are in here or non-Democrats in here or so far left that you don't care about nobody but just you. They just told their people that this wasn't going to harm them. And the way they got all the rest of them to come over and say, okay, we'll basically kill off our constituents, with passing this bill, because we hope that Donald Trump and others are going to save us from that. But we'll go ahead and vote alongside of you killing our constituents, closing down these hospitals. Lisa Murkowski wanted it so bad not to pass it, but to get a stipend for her. Or could you break us off a little money over here in Alaska? Fuck all the rest of the 49 states. Can you break us off something so our hospitals won't close? Can you break us off something so that, we have something for our people? What I'm saying? We got a little change, keep our hospitals open, keep our doctors paid, keep all the things that's supposed to harm 49 states. Keep that for us. Okay, you got my vote. While the rest of the 49 states that these people represent, they're like giving the finger to. And she goes on a microphone and says, I don't like the fact that it's going to harm a lot of these Americans, but I took care of Alaskans. Well, that's her job, to take care of the Alaskans. But the rest of the country, they didn't have a Lisa Murkowski working for them to try and benefit their lives. They had the rest of these Republicans who always think about giving money back to rich people and always think about fucking over their people. And they tell them they're fucking over black and brown people, so these people get excited that it's not going to happen to them. Have they not been paying attention to what happened to the Latin people who voted for Donald Trump, getting their ass snatched up off the ground, getting their asses beat and thrown into cages, and they're American citizens? Or at least they've raised American citizens. The one man who got beat up and pepper sprayed, and days later still they haven't even given him water to get the pepper spray out of his eyes. What was his crime? Oh, he was working? Did he break any laws? Well, he's here illegally. Is he going through the process? No, we don't know. But the sons are all military men, will die for this country, have fought for this country. All Marines. And when he's asked about, what's going on, he talks about his dad and everything like that. But they was like, did you know or did you believe that Donald Trump was going to do this? And I knew he voted for Donald Trump by his response. He didn't talk about doing this like to all of people. He's just talking about doing it to certain people, basically, is what he said. Right then, I knew he voted for Donald Trump. And right then, I stopped giving a fuck about his dad. Keep him in there. I don't care. You voted for him. You beat him, so what? He asked for it. These are things these people are asking for. I don't get mad or support people who ask to get beat up and get beat up. I'm not going to fight for you when you voted and asked for this to happen to other brown people while being brown. What kind of shit is this? You knew this man was going to do this to other people, but you didn't know he's going to do it to your dad. No, I don't give a shit about what happened to your dad or what the fuck. I don't care. You don't have no water yet. Because you had no problem when you thought it was going to be that man picking fucking apples or oranges and shit trying to survive for his family, or that man that was going to be in front of Home Depot waiting all day in the blazing sun so he can help feed his family. You didn't give a fuck that it was them. You thought just because it was somebody like that, it was cool. But if it ever reached your doorstep, that's when you started to give a fuck. I'm getting tired of human beings that don't have the wherewithal or the ability to give a fuck about anybody but themselves. Fuck you and everything you stand for. If the only thing you give a fuck about is you and yours, then go it alone. Stop asking for jobs. Build your own fucking job. Stop asking people to help you. Do it yourself. Because obviously you think you live in this country by yourself. And you don't give a fuck about what happens to anybody else except for you. Do it alone. See if you can do it all by yourself. I guarantee you can. You're going to buy your own products and make them? Everybody needs somebody for their lives to change. You start a business, you need customers. If your customers didn't give a fuck about you, you a broke ass business person. But for some reason, these people get into positions and think they're better and bigger than anybody else, that they can't fall. And then when they start falling, they're begging you to help them. All over social media, people talking about, I didn't know it was going to happen to me. My dad is this. And fuck you and your dad. You thought it was going to happen to other people. You had no problem. Many of you, these people, were celebrating when it was happening. I'm glad it's happening to blah, 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 blah. And then a week or two later, they snatched up their uncle, snatched up their mother. Oh, shut the fuck up. You laughed. You played that song. We support Donald Trump. Had a ball with it until it hit your family. You couldn't see it hitting your family. The thing that kills me about all this, black, white, Latin, whatever, voted for Donald Trump, I'm like, yo, how did you expect them to gather these people up? Did you think it was going to be easy? Did you think they had a scarlet letter on their body, so therefore you can know one from the other? Did they have a little detector that was like, criminal? Is that how you thought it was going to go down? Or did you think they were going to be snatching up innocent people and they're going to have to fight for their own lives? And even then, it's better than what they're doing now. They're snatching them up and putting them in jail in other countries where they don't even speak their language. And no due process. I ain't legal. I'm legal. Produce the papers. Well, it's at my house. You don't have it on you. You got to spend time in jail, and your family can't talk to you until they don't thoroughly scared the fuck out of you. How did you think they were going to do it? Just walk up to them. Are you illegal? Oh, come with me. They showed you the example the last time he was president. It is 2025. There are Latin children that still don't know where mom and dad are from 2017. Many of them might be dead and their parents don't even know. Many of them might be in a slave trade, a sex trade, or anything, and they don't even know because they don't know where their babies are. Because Donald Trump and his people on purpose stole them, put them in another state, and didn't tell them where their kids were. Never tagged mom and dad to know that this is mom and this is dad. They don't know where their babies are to this day. Can you imagine your child that came out of you, that is from you, dad? You don't know where your baby is? Every night when the sun goes down, you can't protect your child because you don't know where the fuck they at? How you think that feels? And too many Americans don't give a fuck. That's their problem, not mine. Oh, okay. Okay. If that's how you see it, it's their problem, not yours. Wonderful people you are. I saw a person talking about, I understand he was mad, a black guy. He's talking about the Latin people that are mad about black people not supporting and stuff like that. He's angry, this one black kid was. He's young. Because the fact that he's never had a problem with Latin people and Latin people have a problem with black people. Not all of them, but a certain group of them. And he's like, you don't need to be coming to me to ask to support you. I've already been supporting you. You need to be going to your own and lighting into their ass. We've been saying that the entire time. In history, black people have supported all races. In history, percentages, and very small that might be, of other races have fought for us. And none of them ever in the history of America, and maybe even the world, No other race has fought for just black people. They've always fought for themselves. Black people have fought for other people's rights. Black people have died for other people's rights. Black people have included white people and Latin people and Asian people and Jewish people in their fights and been the face of the fight that helped win them a better life. You don't see it the other way around. So I got my little man's like anger, because he knows in his history it's not us that needs to be talked to, it's your own people. It's people who look like you. It's people who are mixed with your race but look like me. You got to speak to them too. That's your job. That's your culture. That's your job, to speak to your people, because they're not going to listen to us. They got a special type of hate for us, some of them. And the only people going to be able to get through to them are people who look like them, used to think like them, but saw the light. That's the only way those problems get solved. Me speaking to them, it's like speaking into the wind. That shit ain't doing nothing but just spewing all over the place, ain't getting to them, ain't getting to their brain. They ain't thinking about it. Their hate for me and people like me that look like me is stronger than their ability to open their ears and listen to reason. So I get my man's pain. If he's out there, if he knows what I'm talking about, I ain't gonna say his name. But this bill passed. Now, the first thing I really wanted to know when this bill passed, I wanted to know, honestly, how would it affect the average person's life? I mean, like, would it actually help? What are the things that this bill actually helps, that maybe the Republicans ride on, that Americans look on the positive side of things? They say, what does it do that's supposed to benefit us? Because you know how they were lying a lot at one point in time, right? And this is what I found, and you can clarify it or update it as you want. But this is what I found, that this thing is supposed to benefit the average American, okay? Middle class people, this tax relief that they're talking about, the tax cuts. Now, you know the rich tax cuts are the exact same as they before. They kept them, and then they added more to it, and they extended it, right? You do understand that the first tax cuts we still haven't paid for. We still got trillions of dollars on the books that never got paid for. And they promised you that last tax cut that Donald Trump gave in 2000, whatever, 17, 18, he said it was going to be paid for. Here it is, 2025, 8 years later. And that has not been paid for. And they want to add to it with no other way to pay for it. But I digress. Let's go to the benefits in which this is supposed to help average citizens. Okay. The middle class tax relief. That is extended from the 2017 tax cuts and expanded standard deduction and retains lower brackets, saving a typical family, middle class, around $500 to $1,700 annually. Okay. So with this tax cut, from the poor doesn't really receive much, but around there, near the poor, is around $500. Up to middle class is going to be like $1,700 annually. So you're like, that sounds good. It's a plus. You get more money, put in your pocket. I'm going to tell you that right now. We're going to go through it because we really want to get to the truth of this. All right? So it adds new deductions for tips and overtime pay. And I know y'all going to say something because I know y'all learn it, but hold on. Just wait up until I get there. Adds new deductions for tips and overtime pay with savings of up to $1,750 per year for service workers. If you're not a service worker, This don't bother you none. Ain't gonna help you none. And mostly the service workers are the lowest paid. They're under minimum wage and rely on tips. Okay. Majority of the tips. Now, we're going to circle back to all these different things and kind of break down what they mean. The second thing that is going to help is child and senior support. Increase child tax credit to approximately $2,200 to $2,500 per child. That's helping working families. Okay. And you understand that tax credit, that it's not like something you get every day. It's like something that you file for at the end of the year, things of that nature. But it's supposed to help. Now, they also have a new senior tax deduction up to $6,000, giving around zero tax on Social Security for many seniors. Excuse me. Now, I don't know why that wasn't in place to begin with, because you got to realize Social Security is just money you put into a bank. You shouldn't even have that in the system. This should be your money, your money. But instead, they made it a part of the budget somehow, and many, many years ago, and now they tap into it anytime they want to, which they shouldn't. It was never built for that to happen, but I digress. The third thing it does, lowers taxes on key expenses, deductible on auto loan interest, the tipping tax again, exemption, expanded SALT deduction cap temporarily to $40,000. You have a break off of $40,000 for that SALT deduction. Benefits owners and everyday earners. All right. And then you have the family and small business support, a one-time Trump child account grant, and renewed support for small businesses and tipped workers. Some of these things are redundant. They're talking about the tipped workers, talking about the small businesses, and that's already been kind of said in the other stuff that I said. So that's kind of redundant, but they stretching their ass off trying to make these 4 points that should be way more than 4 points of what it's actually going to do for you. Now, let's go back and deal with that. So it's number 1, middle class tax relief; 2, child and senior support; 3, lower taxes on key expenses; and 4, family and small business support. This is it. Okay. When they talk about that middle class, that $500 to $1,700, I want you guys to kind of better understand that if I give you $500 to $700, $1,700, you're going to do what with that? More than likely spend it, because they're trying to boost the economy. So millions of people get $500 or $1,700. You're going to buy, maybe a new TV, something you've been wanting to do, or pay off a month of the mortgage. So therefore, you can have a month free and save some money and stuff like that. Or, go out and buy a nice outfit or whatever it is you might get. But you're not going to invest this money for the most part, because it's like, in your mind, it's going to be extra change. It's not like $500 given to the poorest person is like investing in a Roth IRA. It's not going to happen. So it's really like spending money. Right? So you feel like you got something. You may pay for a bill and it's gone. Then what happens? You back to being broke. The $500 is gone. You back to the income that you had before, which was barely getting by. So ask yourself what happens when you juxtapose that with the shit that costs more now. Yeah, because what Donald Trump is doing with these tariffs, it's going to blow up how much you pay for the average shit you pay. No extravagant shit. The food you buy is going to be higher by far. The toys you want to get your kids is going to be higher. The backpack you got to pay for them to go to school, it's going to be higher. Mm-hmm. And so when the cost of living goes up, your rent's going to go up $20, $50, maybe even $500 for some people. Gas prices are going to go up. Utility bills are going to go up. And it's all because these tax cuts and these tariffs. They go hand in hand. Republicans, Democrats, Independents, all of them know if you give people more money, these people over here are going to raise their prices. That's why you see them like, oh yeah, $100,000 doesn't get what it used to get back in the day. I used to be able to have a house and take care of a family. Why? Because now they know that more of you have 100,000, they raise the prices on shit. So now you're still living as if it was 1970. Whereas, you barely had any money, but you was getting paid a little bit more, you feel, and, you was able to raise a family with one job, barely, but you was doing it. But when you increase, like give people money back, and therefore the government's kind of starved of cash, these people over here decide, we're going to charge more because you can afford it now. You got more money in your pocket. You got $500 to $1,700 in your pocket. Do you understand these tariffs are going to cost you anywhere between $4,000 to $10,000 a year? They just gave you more money so that you could be suckered into thinking, I got more money, got my taxes back, got some cash in my pocket. And then the next thing you know, little by little, every bill you got is increased, which means your lifestyle, the way that you live your life is going to decrease. Don't believe me? Go look back at when Donald Trump was president before and they gave out taxes. Go look back when Reagan was president. He gave out all those tax breaks. Everything went up. And therefore, it looks like you got $500 in your pocket. $4,000 went out. They sucker you by giving you the pipe. And then when you hooked on it and you done spent it all, they take away everything else. And you sitting here all cracked out on a tax cut. But in reality, they raise everything else little by little. They keep the price the same sometimes and take out a majority of the product. You notice why you have a bag of chips that used to be full that cost $3? Now it's like $6.69 and the bag is 3/4 empty? It's because of the same reason. These people want to make money and they're going to gouge you for it. Make no mistake about it. These people are thinking in every way, shape, or form. If they could sell you a bag of chips with one chip in it for $19.99, they would. That's how much they don't give a fuck about you. If they could get it to a point where they just put one big ass Dorito in a regular ass bag and sell it for $19.99, they would do it if you were dumb enough to buy it. They have no qualms with making money any way they can. Long as you have this mentality that it's a value for you somewhat. Long as you think that everybody else is getting fucked, why you gonna complain if everybody else is getting one chip? I ain't gonna say nothing. That's exactly what they're doing to everybody. And because everybody's getting it, nobody's speaking up about it. These tariffs are estimated, excuse me. These tariffs are estimated at based by them. I'm giving you stats by the Yale Budget Lab. Yale Budget Lab. It is estimated that tariffs are going to cost the average American household $3,800 annually. That's one organization. Again, that being the Yale Budget Lab. There's the Center for American Progress. Now, they combined the tariffs and measures and got the cost of it being around $5,200 annually. Then there's a third organization, and that one's called the Joint Economic Committees. It's a Democratic minority. They estimate the tariffs alone will cost anywhere between $1,600 to $2,000. So we got $3,800 from one organization, $5,200 from another, and $1,600 to $2,000 from a third. The bottom line, on average, anywhere between, if you add those together and try to get the mean, you're looking at anywhere between $2,000 to $4,000 per household, these tariffs are going to cost you. And that comes from anything from your car, buying a car, to appliances, to clothing, to food, to back to school gear, to, Home Depot runs, all that shit. All that. On average, the average family is going to spend $2,000 to $4,000 more for the items you normally buy. So Republicans knew this. They had this information, just like I just gave it to you. They've been had this information. This is information they have. These organizations, every last one of them have relied on over the years. It's not like they just automatically became woke. All of these organizations have been the information in which Republicans and Democrats alike have cited to get their bills passed, all of this. So all this minutia about, oh, they're just liberal, oh, they're just conservative. No, these are people in the middle. They crunch numbers. 1 + 1 = 2. They estimate certain things, and certain people take out certain aspects of it and say, maybe not this, maybe this. But either way it goes, they come out with a median of $2,000 to $4,000. Americans, you're getting back anywhere between $500 to $1,700. If you don't spend your money quickly, you can knock off a good $500 to $1,700 of how much things are going to cost you. But most people are not that fiscally conservative. You got an extra $500, you're going to pay off a bill. Or you're going to pay off a bill for the next couple months. Oh, I got my phone bill's $100. I'm going to pay off for 5 months, and then I can work on other stuff and save some money. But then those tariffs are going to hit your ass right in the pocketbook, right in the chin, right in the chest, right in the eye socket. And you ain't going to be able to handle all those blows, those body blows from everything costing more. And Republicans knew that was going to happen. That is the sole reason the 7 or 8 that was against it decided to vote for it. Because, well, I'm going to say sole reason, but one of the reasons. One is because Donald Trump is their Lord and Savior. Thinks he can fix everything. If they fuck up, he's going to be there to help it and take responsibility so they don't get hit with it. And then 2, they think that their constituents are suckers. How do you come out and tell your constituents that it's going to close down the hospitals? It's going to. These are Josh Hawley's, the Lisa Murkowski's, and all these others. How are you going to sit there and say that in public and then decide to vote for it anyway? You know why they did this? Well, I'm going to show you one video as to why, what it sounds like. But the other part is they pushed this off to 26 and 2027. Now, what does that mean, Democrats or independents? If past this prologue, it's like a time capsule with a bomb in it. And that time capsule is set to 2026, 2027, like in November, after the vote. 2026, we vote to see who's in the House and the Senate, and more than likely either one of the House or the Senate or both, Democrats will be leading. And that time capsule set by the Republicans in this bill to start closing down hospitals, to start fucking up the economy, it blows up in the face of Democrats when they're in leadership. And Americans, no disrespect for those who are not aware, but most of my people are. But if you are one of those people, you're dumb as fuck, and you're going to believe whatever is going on. How can you stop my pain? Stop it now. Stop it now. Stop it now. We're telling you the pain may be hurting in 2026 and 2027 when it's enacted. But the person with the bullet, the person with the weapon, were the Democrats. Not Democrats, but Republicans. They're going to blame the Democrats. The Republicans are the ones who passed the big, beautiful bill to close down these hospitals and shit like that. It's going to happen through their bill. But see, Democrats are going to rely on just saying, look, they passed the bill. And Republicans know their people don't go off of fucking knowledge. They go off of feelings. So when their pocketbook is hurting, they're going to blame whomever's in leadership. They ain't going to give a shit about the history. They're going to forget that shit. Once this bill is passed, 2 years from now, you think these idiots are going to believe? They can't believe Donald Trump said the shit he said last week. He didn't say that. Yeah, he did. No, he didn't. And Fox don't show it. It never happened. So you're talking to people who don't educate themselves and only listen to one bubble, which is Fox. And they're not going to know any of this shit is going to hit them until it hits them. And when Fox blames Democrats, they're in leadership. It's their fault. They could have stopped it. These idiots are going to believe it's Democrats' fault. And then the Republicans are going to win the House and Senate the following 2 years. Why? Because these idiots don't learn. And because Republicans are good at grifting, at lying, at deception, at evil shit. The Democrats are always trying to be fair and precise and all that. Republicans are always stab them in the back, gouge them in the stomach. I don't care what. Shank them 75 times. We got to win at all costs. But smile in their face and say it's not happening. What? You bleeding? Why are you bleeding? Who's stabbing you while stabbing you? Who's stabbing you? I don't know why he's stabbing you. I ain't got no knife. Still stabbing. I don't have a knife. What are you talking about? This ain't a knife. These are my fingers. Still stabbing you. And with what? What? That ain't blood. That's ketchup. See? That ain't that. Will be having the murder weapon in their hand, swearing up and down, I don't know nothing about it. And expect to walk away from the crime like, ain't me. What you mean? This is his blood, but I didn't do it. That's how they roll in this country. And far too often, American citizens, I don't know how y'all let them get away with it. Donald Trump is a criminal that was elected to the highest point or power in this country, not once, but twice, and has been a criminal his entire life. This big, beautiful bill is going to destroy the lives of many people. It's a given. These things that I mentioned, in an averaging out median of 2,000 to 4,000, that's all gone. Your tax cuts mean nothing. Shit is going to rise with tariffs alone. That's going to be way over the amount of money that you received. And Republicans would do just this. Well, it's inevitable that things are going to rise because that's how inflation goes. You know, milk didn't cost nothing but a quarter years ago, and now all of a sudden it's like $5, a gallon. That's just how the world works. It really isn't. But you believe it's that way because right. When I was a kid, I could buy a whole carton of milk for 25 cents. Now it's like $6, whatever. Yeah, that's just the way things go. No, it's how rich people consistently raise shit and then tell dumb people who are poor it had to happen. No, it didn't. It really didn't. Especially if if it still costs almost the same thing in the 70s and 80s to make it. So why the hell does it cost so much more to deliver it? Price gouging. But that's just the big, beautiful bill when it comes to your tariffs taking that out. Now, you're at zero. You owe, on the opposite end, the net household, after getting these taxes back, $500 to $1,700 per household, and owing more money for products and services with these tariffs on, anywhere between anywhere between 2,000 to 4,000. The net that you will end up getting for that to each household would be a negative 1,300 to a negative 3,500. You just lost anywhere between $1,300 to $3,500, letting them say yes to a bill that faked you into believing that you're going to get money back. You will. That money's going to come right to your pocket and go right out the other end. And you're just going to blame the economy. The economy is the way it is. Just is what it is. It's not just is what it is. It was planned. They knew this before they asked to sign the bill. They know exactly what they're doing. You're the one that doesn't know. You're the one that thinks that this $500 or $1,500 you get back is like, oh, they did great by me. Everything costs more. Way more. And these are arbitrary tariff numbers. We could have stayed at the tariff number that we were before. On average, 3 to 5%. This fool raised it for everybody 10%. 3 and 4 times more, 2 to 4 times more than some of these places. Some of them we had 0%. And they raised it 10%, 10 times more, or 10% more than what it was there before. And were you like making a lot of money before he raised these interest? No, everybody was talking about how much everything cost so much. Then he raised tariffs on everything and told you he was going to come in and make things cheaper. How do you come in and make Americans pay more money for the products and services that they were paying for and say that's going to decrease your spending, what you got to spend? And then have the audacity to tell you we've saved so many billions of dollars since we threw on the tariffs. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You just took out billions of dollars out of average American citizens' pockets because we pay the tariffs. You raised taxes on us without calling it a tax increase. That's what you did. You called it a tariff, but in all honesty, it's a tax increase. So things cost more for us and money goes into the till for the government. And then you're telling the people you don't want to give us any of that money back for our own health care. Yet you're taking money that we would be putting on health care and putting it in this fund so that you can give billionaires tax cuts. That's what you wanted to do to begin with. You've been telling them you're going to give them additional tax cuts since you gave them the last tax cut. And all you did was go through the government and try to close down businesses and U.S. aid and everything that was helping other people and helping us stay safe around the world. You gutted all that just so you can give billionaires money back. American citizens, you are losing in this process. Even if you get $500 to $1,700 back, anywhere between $2 to $4 grand is coming out of your pocket because of these tariffs. And those are only two things that's going to be a problem. What happens if interest rates go up? What happens if we have a recession? Everything start costing more on top of these tariffs. See, the minimum is this $13,000 or $2,000 to $4,000 coming out your pocket. That's just the tariffs. Because the tariffs are on, more than likely, we're going to have increase in everything around us. And if we go toward like a recession, which a man-made one, because this shit would have never happened, it wasn't because of the economy, it was because one man decided to do what he did. And a lot of us are going to lose our shirts because of it. It's crazy. The politicians see it coming a mile away. The citizens have no fucking clue, the ones who are unaware. They pass it, and then they're going to blame it on other people because those people have no clue on what the devious Republicans did to them. Have no inkling of an idea. They think it's being conservative. It is not. I promise you this. I don't know. I'm 54 years old. I don't know how many times I've asked a Republican, hardcore Republican, before MAGA came about. I've asked since then too, but before MAGA came about, I asked Republicans. I said, yo, man, I said, and every one of them, whether it be Latin, white, black, whatever, I'll say, look, what are you so happy about being a Republican. Abortion was one. Family values was another, as if Democrats didn't have family values. It was the slowest thing ever. I'm like, family values? I'm like, dude, you've cheated on your wife. How the fuck you talking about family values? I'm a Democrat and haven't. You have. And you think that's a main core of Republicans? I mean, come on, man. Be realistic. But that's in their twisted brain. I'm like, okay, so family values. All right. And then they went on to say fiscally conservative. And I said, really? Wonder how that works. Seeing as how, you're in debt that you can barely pay for, and you work in multiple jobs, even though if you stop doing certain things, you could pay for it all, but you choose to be in debt and live to this far of your neck in debt when you don't have to, but you're fiscally conservative. And then you look at the Republican Party and say, dude, they never created a bill that paid for itself. How's that fiscally conservative? Everything they pass, the tax cuts, every time they do it, rises up the debt and blows up the deficit. That's fiscally conservative? Tell me a time in history that it was fiscally conservative for Republicans. They always bring up Ronald Reagan. And I'm like, how is that fiscally conservative? He fucked up so many times. He's the president that raised taxes more than any other president, and he's a Republican, to pay for shit because he kept giving shit away and we didn't have enough money in the till to be able to take care of it. He raised taxes some crazy like 17, 19 fucking times. How is that fiscally conservative? Fucking up and then having to raise taxes to fix it? That's fiscally conservative to you? Everything they say they stand for, they do not stand for. There is never a time in history that they've ever done that. They've never been fiscally conservative. They don't pay for shit. All they want is tax cuts, and they call everybody else lazy. They call everybody else freeloaders, and they're the ones taking taxes and money and saying they're going to put it back into the economy and go out and buy a yacht or buy stocks back. And we're the ones that's left taking care of the country, spending most of our money going toward taxes. They're spending 10% of their money or 0% of their money, depending on how they configure their taxes. So many loopholes for rich people to not pay taxes. But you try that as a citizen of this country and you'll find your ass in jail somewhere. Ask Wesley Snipes. He thought he can do what these regular ass rich white people do. They caught his ass in a heartbeat. Pay your taxes. These people out here not paying taxes, claiming $40,000 a year, living in a $60 million mansion. Like, how do you make $40,000 a year? Oh, this is the company's house. The company buying them $60 million homes, $30 million homes, so that they don't get taxed. The company gets taxed, and the company gets taxed at a lower rate than the person. That's how these people get over this shit. And they're always cutting through red tape, making their own little lane to keep their money, while at the same time bitching at you, saying you need to have, a better job or something. You need to do something. You're lazy. Oh, well, then you're a grifter. You're non-patriotic because you're keeping all your cash and you're only giving 10%. And those of us who barely have anything, giving up 30% of our money trying to survive off of it. It's crazy, y'all. Under this bill, people will die. No doubt. No doubt. It's going to be a time lapse, though. The deaths are mostly going to happen in 2027. After they pass, the Democrats, if they get into office in 2026, 2027, it's going to be a bloodbath. People just not getting money for insulin, for oxygen, and it's just going to be COVID again. 1 million people going to pass away. And they're going to blame it all on who's in leadership. Who's running the place? Who's running that city? Who's running that town? All Democrats, because they know it's cyclical. And when these Democrats are running and trying to keep the boat afloat, even though the Republicans have blew a fucking hole in the boat, while the Democrats try to heal the boat, there's going to be a vast amount of dumbass American citizens that are going to be blaming the Democrats for not being able to stop something that the Republicans have already blew a hole in. This shit will not change until Americans start seeing the Republicans for what they actually are. Until Americans start playing the game in which they play and recognize game. These people are gaslighting. If you know that right now this big, beautiful bill passes, and then these people, well, immediately their insurance just doesn't go away, they're going to think it's 2 months down the line, a year down the line. It never went away under a Republican. It went away under a Democrat, and you're a dipshit. In this bill, it doesn't go in effect in some of these states until 2026, and you won't feel it until 2027. By then, Republicans will be out of leadership in either the House or the Senate or both, and it'll be in Democrats' hands to try and fix their fuck up. And America's going to want them to fix that shit overnight, even though they allowed these people to fuck it up for 2 years straight. They're going to want Democrats to come in, here I come to save the day. We got to come in and fix shit overnight, or you're going to be pissed off. But while they fucking it up, you're just sitting there. They're going to have to try and fix it. How they going to do it? The hell if we know. If we don't give them a supermajority, they ain't going to be able to do shit. Republicans are going to be like, if we gave them Democrats just, in the Senate, gave them 51, 49, ain't shit going to get done. If we somehow give them 60-40, we can kick that ass and get shit done fast. But Americans never, ever, ever make sense when it comes to politics. They always handicap the Democrat Party and they get pissed off that they can't do shit. Right now, why are you mad at Democrats? Not enough Democrats came out and voted because there's more Democrats than there are Republicans. Not enough Democrats came out and voted to stop this shit. Whether they went to the far left and deal with Jill Stein, who fucking disappears every year, you tell them, as soon as the event's over, the bitch is going to disappear. What do they do? Well, no, she's going to do this. Where's she at? Ain't heard from her. She could be dead right now. We wouldn't even know. The other lady who liked to smoke weed and shit got some of these people who love 420 all twisted and believe it. Well, whatever her name is, McLean, she's talking about legalizing federally. Man, you are so hyped up on smoking weed that you literally want our country to focus on that instead of fucking freedoms that we have. Fool, go smoke somewhere, but don't put everybody's life at fucking in peril because you want to smoke a joint. That's the dumbest shit I ever heard. Just because she wanted that shit. Just stupid. Not enough of us voted to make this thing blow their ass out the water. If the same amount of people that came out for Biden came out for her, it'd be a wrap. Democrats alone. We wouldn't even need any fucking Republicans. But no. Democrats got fucked over by Democrats. They had the no vote party or whatever the fuck that was. The Arab lady or whatever her name was is from, I think, from Michigan or some shit like that. She just peeked her little head out here recently and did some kind of press conference or whatever. But once the election was over, this trick disappeared. Out here telling people don't vote during the primaries and then couldn't get them to come back during the damn election. How dumb was that? Democrats fucked over Democrats. Wasn't all about no Democrats going to Republican parties or Republicans recruiting so many people. It was just a bunch of Democrats that decided not to vote and some that decided to go over to the Republican Party. Give them a chance because the Democrats were the racists to begin with and they owned slaves. And I'm like, dude, you don't know fucking history. Quit dabbling in shit that you read half of. It doesn't take much to read a fucking book to learn what happened with the Republicans and Democrats back in the day. To realize, yes, there was racism on both sides of that fence. Republican and Democrat, still is. But Democrats create bills that help communities. Republicans don't. They always talk about you having your own responsibility. You do this and you do that. I'm like, really? So you talking about giving people $500 to $1,700? They're supposed to go out there and make away with that? Yet you don't give them tax breaks like you give these billionaires. Yet you don't give them subsidies like you give these billionaires. These billionaires got hundreds of billions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. And you keep on giving them free cash. Why would you give rich people free cash? They already got money. So giving rich people free cash is not welfare. But giving poor people free cash is. So the people who can afford to get shit gets free money. That is called just regular business, subsidies. But the people who are working hard and can barely get by but may have a good idea and you want to invest in them so they can help them out, that right there is called welfare. And they got to pay it back. Or they lose what they already have. They may lose their car. They may lose their business. They may lose their property within the business. They may lose things within their home and furniture. And the government's coming to take everything to get their little measly 50 grand back. But you have no problem giving Elon Musk $400 million for a crappy ass car that's bulletproof. You know, one thing I realized, life must be awesome when you're stupid. Because if you don't know nothing, there ain't nothing really crawling up in here to make logic or nothing like that. And life is just, you know, I can pay my bills. I really don't care about politics. And, you know, I can go out to eat every now and again. And my friends come over and we drink and play games and play drinking games. And we go barbecue and play every once in a while. And life is okay, you know. We live in squalor, but, you know, everybody does. But, you know, they're just dumb and don't know any better. That must be the life. I mean, to be born stupid. To have a life where the bare minimum is everything. And you never think about solutions, problems, just money shows up and fine. Must be nice to be stupid. But anybody with a brain worth a fuck can realize that when shit's about to come down the pike, they want it to miss you. You don't want it to hit you. And these fools keep on looking down the barrel of a gun and say, pull the trigger. And you're like, what? Don't you want to duck or something? No, just pull the trigger. And we're the ones always carrying the worry and the stress and saying, move, duck, do something. And they're just happily stupid. And the only reason we care is because their lives affect ours. If they were stuck in their own bubble and life was fucked up for them and whatever these Republicans decided only affected them, oh shit, we'd be joyful. And that fool about to lose his house. That fool about to lose his life. That fool about to lose his kids. That's me. Ain't got shit to do with me because we taking care of one another. That's what I think good American citizens need to do. Stop relying on the government to take care of shit. Start thinking about each other and how we can help good people together. And these bad people who are relying on the government but acting like they don't, let's see how they fare when they start cutting, you know, certain programs, giving taxes back, and these poor people middle class people who keep relying on these things, their lives start falling apart because people like us have decided a way to move this earth along together. If millions of us came together and said, hey, we're done with this shit, this back and forth and suckering us and shit. We know how this game is played, and we're going to play it by ourselves. You keep playing that stupid game. You keep getting hit with a bat and not ducking. You're the one that's going to be brain dead. We're going to be good. If we can get it like that, some way, somehow, and fuck all this Republican, Democrat, it's the sane against the insanes. It's the common sense against the nonsense. Because I'm sick and tired of people belonging to a party or anything and not recognizing the thing that should glue us together is not red or blue. It's to give a damn about me and you. That's what we should be doing. But these fools will ride and die with a team that loses all the damn time. But because they're on that team and people think like them, don't give a fuck about no money, nobody. All they care about is money. Every bill they make is all about making money, 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 money. And then when the shit hits the fan, they begging Democrats and liberals to give a fuck about them. We should stop giving a fuck about them. Because they have relied on us to be that group of people that fix their fuck ups. Every time a Democrat comes into office after a Republican, go check it out in history. The Democrat is always fixing the ship. The Republicans are always fucking it up. And while the Democrats put their head down and work hard, the Republicans are on their way trying to find out the nearest bomb they can explode so they can blow up the ship. They know we're going to put our head down and work and fix it. And we know if they get into office, they're going to fuck it up. So when is America going to realize that these Republicans are useless for America? Period. When are you going to realize you need to stop electing them for jack shit? Because they ain't doing shit for you. If anybody's fiscally conservative or even close to fiscally conservative, it's Democrats. Why? Because almost every bill they put forward pays for itself. That ain't something that they say. That's something that the CBO says. The same one that says the Republicans never put a bill out that pays for itself. And you would think after a while, if you look back in history, every Republican puts us in fucking astronomical debt. They blow up the fucking deficit. They can't balance a budget. But yet they're the fiscally conservative party. Such an oxymoron. How can you be great at something that you never do? What they're great at is marketing themselves as something, but never achieving it. That's like saying, I am a great pilot. I ain't never flown a plane, well, one time, but I ain't a pilot whatsoever. But I can put out there and market it. Great pilot, great pilot, great pilot. And people start believing that shit. I'll never have to fly a plane. Just take a picture next to one. You'll think I'm a pilot. That's what Republicans do. Every time a Democrat comes in and fixes the economy, they come in and fuck it up. It took Biden 4 years to fix Donald Trump's fuck up, and it still needed work. If he had 8 years, we'd be out of this mess. But nope. You put the man back in who fucked it up so that he can fuck it up more. As soon as he got in, did he make the bills pay? Did he make your money grow, or did your money like fall apart? It went to shit. As soon as he got into office. It was no more than a few weeks. This man had our economy on the fucking on the brink. Rich people are like, what the fuck is he doing? Wall Street's like, what the hell? Bringing out a poster talking about putting tariffs on penguins. I'll never understand this country fully, yo. I really won't. How do you put yourself behind a weapon and keep pulling the trigger? I don't get. Or in front of a weapon and keep pulling the trigger. Donald Trump has a gun to America's head, And Republicans keep going and loading that bitch and pulling the trigger. And I'm like, what are you thinking? How on earth do you think this man's going to help you? Republican leadership knew that this was going to harm Republicans. They spoke about it. They wouldn't vote for it. Lisa Murkowski said so and still voted for it in hopes that the House would send it back to the Senate. We're going to watch a video to show you the simplification of these Republicans. This is Representative Ralph Norman, a Republican, how he thinks about this bill that they just passed.
We accepted the bill as is. What's different is President Trump is going to use his powers to, like on the subsidies, to make sure that a lot of these subsidies won't remain in effect.
It sounds to me in some way that you were saying that the president persuaded you by saying that he is going to some degree, override some of the provisions in the bill. Is that right?
No, he's not going to override it. He's going to have accountability is the best way to describe it. I think some executive orders you'll see come down the pipe, which will be good.
This man just said, as a leader for his state, that this bill is not where it needs to be. But we voted for it because Donald Trump promised them that he was going to write some executive orders to fix whatever is fucked up in it. You guys know it's the House and Senate that make laws. The president just signs them and passes them through, validates those laws. This man just created a law, signed onto it, in hopes that Donald Trump will write an executive order that fixes the fucked up like subsidies within it that they have a problem with. It's their job to make the laws. Their job, not Donald Trump's, not a executive order. These are the same Republicans when Obama wrote executive orders. They were like, it's not law. I don't know why he's doing it. There's no reason to do it. He's writing too many of them. He's writing way too many. Donald Trump has dwarfed Obama by leaps and bounds. This man had over 176 fucking executive orders the first fucking week he was president. They hated executive orders when Obama was writing them. They hated executive orders when President Biden was writing them. And Donald Trump surpassed both of them, and they ain't got a fucking problem with it. This man decided to not do his job for his constituents because it's them that make the laws and toil over them until they benefit their constituents. This man and other Republicans passed the buck to Donald Trump's executive orders. You understand executive orders can be denied if you take them to court and say that they're unconstitutional. So these people put it in the hands of Donald Trump to allow this to happen. And then when the Democrats go and say it's unconstitutional to give this aid to others while not giving it to the people in the blue states, now you have the Democrats suing to end or incorporate or whatever a subsidy that's going to harm people. It's Democrats' fault for going to court and saying, look, the Republicans decided this bill. Donald Trump cannot throw an executive order out to take out pieces of this bill that's still going to hurt people, but only blue states and not red states. So they're going to no state should have this. It should be exactly as they decided to sign it. And going to court and fighting that will be something that Democrats are going to have to fight uphill for, because they're going to say, look what the Democrats did. They took this executive order to court and the courts overturned it. And you would have your money if it wasn't for Democrats. These people are so devious by playing this crazy chess game of setting these bombs up for Democrats to try and fight for the people, while at the same time telling them that they're the ones that caused the problem to begin with. So the minute the Democrats fight to get rid of those subsidies or whatever that these Republicans are trying to give their people through Donald Trump executive order, Donald Trump gets it put on his shoulders, so he can bear the brunt, because they're like the Jim Jones type of thing. The people who are drinking the purple Kool-Aid, they're not going to blame Donald Trump for his fuck-ups. He's Teflon Don. They're going to blame Democrats for going against him to save their lives. Mark my words. It happens all the time. It happened when he was president before. And these Republicans know if it's on their backs, they're going to lose. But if we give people kind of like what they want and prolong it to 2026, 2027, while we're running and while we're in office, it won't affect them. So we'll sit there and say, they're lying. They're lying. We're not doing that. Is your insurance gone? Nope. Is your insurance gone? Nope. You got $500 back. You got $1,700 back. They're lying. And like we said, a liar travels around the world 1,000 times before the truth wakes up and brushes his teeth. They'll say they're lying over and over and over. It'll be on Fox News. It'll be on OAN. It'll be on News Nation. It'll be everywhere. Even CNN is going to say that, it seems like it's a lie. It never kicked in. They're always playing chess with the Democrats, and the Democrats are for some reason playing like Candyland. Democrats keep following the law, so they know exactly what they're going to do. Republicans always breaking the laws, so the Democrats think they're going to follow the law, and when they're trying to head them off at the pass, they on break law land road, and we're on follow the road that we're supposed to be on. They're way over here, breaking the law any way, shape, or form. It's the wild fucking West over there. Wild, wild West. And we're following the rules. And they're coloring so far outside the lines, we can't catch up. How do you win when they don't play the rules to win the game? They lie, they cheat, they steal, they rape, they beat, they do everything they can. And those of us who abide by the law keep on trying to tell the people, and they don't care. This government just hired a man that basically was saying kill an officer during January 6th. He told somebody, kill him, just kill him, just kill him. And this is the dude that's working inside of the White House right now as an executive of some sort. They hired him. You can't work in the White House with a record, even if you get exonerated. You can't work with a record, and he's in there. He was pardoned. A pardon means you say that you're guilty, and he sets you free. You can't be in the White House and get clearance being in that situation, but he's still there. See how the rules don't apply? It's just insane. You can't win with these people. Another aspect of this you're going to see real quick is a Representative Ryan Zinke. Listen to what he has to say. He's supporting the bill, but listen to how he supports the bill.
You know, it probably has too much salt, not enough pepper. There's some small gambling issues in it that can be corrected, but I don't think that this is the vehicle to correct it. Overall, there's no poison pills in it. If you're a fiscal hawk on one side, you know, you're probably not satisfied. If you're moderate on the other side, you're not satisfied. Right. So overall, I think this is the best we can do at the moment.
That's supporting the bill? The best we can do at the moment. It has a few poison pills in it. If you're a fiscal hawk or whatever, it doesn't have what you want in it. So it's not fiscally conservative. You're not paying off the debt. If you care about the people, it's not doing that either. But overall, that's the best we can do for you. You guys know they really have until like December 30th or 31st to actually pass this. It doesn't need to be passed right now. They could literally go and work on this for the next couple months and get a great deal where some compromise between. There's an arbitrary date that Donald Trump set, July 4th, so he can give this bill and say 250 years and blah, 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 and fireworks go off and maybe some planes fly by, and he tries to make this whole production out of bullshit with a bunch of crazed ass MAGA in front of him. That's why they did this. For his July 4th promotional show. They have until December 31st. To fix this bill. And he said that's the best they can do. And he's talking about this is not the bill. I mean, listen to him again. It's sad that this man literally just said what he said.
You know, it probably has too much salt, not enough pepper. There's some small gambling issues in it.
Small gambling issues in it. Like, this might not work. Let's close our eyes and hope it lands on black. Oh, didn't? You lost your shirt. Is what it is. Why would you sign on for something that doesn't have anything that he wants in it?
That can be corrected, but I don't think that this is the vehicle to correct it.
This is not the vehicle to correct it. This bill is not the vehicle to correct any of the issues. You're voting for a bill that doesn't solve the problems in which the constituents actually need solved. What the fuck is this bill for? If it's not...
There's no poison pills in it.
Poison pills in it.
If you're a fiscal hawk on one side, you know, you're probably not satisfied. If you're
fiscal hawk, you're not satisfied. You want everything to be paid for. You're not satisfied. Mike Johnson came out and said this thing pays for itself. Here you are listening to a person who works in the White House. It doesn't pay for itself.
You're moderate, on the other side you're not satisfied. Right. So overall, I think this is the best we can do at the moment. You know,
this is the best we can do at the moment. Abso-fucking-lutely nothing is the best we can do at the moment. Go back to the drawing board and fix what your constituents need out of it. To hell with this arbitrary July 4th when you got until December 31st to figure it the fuck out. all this stuff is intact. This tax cuts that you want, they're still intact right the fuck now until December 31st. Why go in and blow up everything just for a July 4th party? All right, I see you, Vera. It's just insane. I don't know. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. How are we gonna deal with this shit? Oh, and also when they talked about earlier, I was telling you about the things that you'll benefit from it, and they talked about you receiving no taxes on your tips. Okay. Even in giving you that, they took it away from you. Gave it to you and took it away. First of all, the no tax on tips is for 2 years, I believe. That's it. The rich people get theirs for like ever. It just keeps going and going. Middle class and stuff like that, I think it's 2 to 3 years that you get it, and then it's gone again. You're back to square one. The no tax on tips, I think, again, is 2 to 3 years. But it's only on cash. So what that means is it's a max of $25,000 cash with no tax on it. But the max has to be $25,000 in cash tips alone. So if you're not a stripper, who else pays in cash? Tips are usually on somebody's credit card. If it hits the credit card, you're paying taxes on it. No tax on tips should be tips no matter which way they come. As long as they're labeled tips, it should be good. But even when they give you guys a perk, this is the Republicans, even when they give you a perk, it comes with regulations to snatch it right out your mouth. You want a cookie? You're starving? Okay, cool. You go to bite the whole cookie and they snatch it back. You get a crumb. You're like, yeah, that's enough. The fuck? Who pays their tips in cash nowadays? I'm kidding. Nobody that I know still pays tips in cash. It's on your credit card. Hit your credit card, it's taxed. So not unless you are a stripper and you work in a cash-only restaurant will you be able to collect 25 grand in tips and never have to pay a tax. They know that the majority of Americans that are working in restaurants will never see that 25 grand in their pockets. You will be taxed. I don't know yet for you ladies and gentlemen who are online. I don't know what that means for those of us who get money through Cash App, all these other apps and stuff like that, through TikTok, through YouTube, whatever. I don't know what that means for these people because, again, it's not considered tips, but for the longest time, they postponed, put it this way, in certain states at least, they postponed that you have to pay taxes over $600 when you get money via, apps and things of that nature. You don't have to pay tax on it if it's $600 or less, whatever, through the transaction of it. But regardless, it may affect us, it may not. I haven't figured that out yet. But I think last year was the last year that you can get money on these apps and not have to pay taxes. Whether this thing prolongs that or cuts it off, I'll try and figure that out for those of us who do this for a living at all. But it is what it is. But I wanted those to know that who may be getting tips, whatever job you're in, make sure they give it to you in cash. Make an agreement with let's say if you're a massage therapist or whatever. If you're in the service industry, where you take appointments, in a barbershop is usually paying with cash, but just in case you pay with any credit card, if you are a barber or anybody who takes in these tips, make sure you tell your client if you're going to tip, cash only. That way you can bypass some of these bills. One of the things I'm very aware of, and because I care about people, is this: whatever you do, like when they talked about Project 2025 came out, if you were around me at the time, I explained a lot of it, and what it was going to do, the things that we're going to benefit from, the things that were going to harm us as a people, whether it be black or whether it be minority situations. There's a lot of things in there that was trying to take away from black people and from women. They don't want you to vote. So check out, for you white women and women in general, you guys are going to have to look at them when they talk about the 19th Amendment, because they dead up want to take your rights away. It's in Project 2025. But go check it out. They're just funneling through all the Project 2025 stuff. Everything that's happening is Project 2025, like we try to tell people. But what you need to know is that whatever is in this bill, and it's huge, it's got a bunch of pork in it. Whatever's going to benefit the average citizen, you need to figure that shit out. And I'm going to try and go through some of it. If I can find it online, I'll have the bill. To find the things that will benefit average Americans, that may benefit women, that may benefit black people, may benefit other cultures. I don't know what they're doing because they're getting rid of DEI. So it just might help people economically in whatever tax bracket you're in. Not sure just yet. But whatever we can do to get this thing to work for us, we need to know it. We need to be in the know so that we can thwart it off or take advantage of things that are not necessarily meant for us to know because they don't tell us. I want you to understand, for those who are of color and even women who aren't even of color, there were times in history, which they always talk about going back to, where they notified white men on what was available, what things were going on, because of areas that they go to, conferences that they go to, where it's majority white. They told them certain things in history, like land is coming available. They told them that certain things were, stipends were coming. They told them that they were building the suburbs and all that shit. White people knew about it way before anybody else did. And then they made the rules that people of color couldn't partake. So understand that these people are going to put in place things that are not going to allow women. They don't want you to vote. Go look it up. There's video of them saying it at even some of these conferences. They're talking about if you get raped as a woman, the rapist gets to make the decision on whether you keep the baby or not. There's all kinds of things that these people are focused on that are just medieval. But they talk about it in the open with women around. You'll just be like, what the fuck? Saying they missed the times when women, women's suffrage? Women's suffrage is basically about voting when women couldn't vote. They want one person in the house to vote. And it's just the man. If you got a son or a daughter or anybody living in a house, a wife, and the man is a person, it's got to be a man who has property. They're trying to take it back there. These are not things that I'm saying out of the top of my head. These are things that came out of their fucking mouths at speeches where they were talking to hundreds of people, if not thousands, at conferences, Charlie Kirk's conference, a few other conferences they have been at, and said these out loud. You can find them online. These are the things they want to do. And they are destroying people's lives. Trying to. On average, they are trying to destroy anything and everything for people who are not white men. And white nationalist white men, for that point. So the rest of us, good, bad, and different, we got to come together and figure out ways to beat them, because relying on our red and blue shit and independent shit to fix it, that's politics. We got to deal with real life shit. They're playing games with our lives and our money. We got to figure out a way as a people to speak about this thing on the regular and figure out, like, what can we do? So that's what one of the things that I'm making up is called Avid Solutionist. It's going to be another show that I have. This is going to be more of a fun process for me, because I'm tired of always talking about the negatives. We're going to bring the negatives up, but we're going to talk about the solutions that we provide. I'm an avid solutionist. I love solutions. But my platform is always talking about the problem, and it's killing me, to be honest. I'm sick of it, but I got to keep people aware, because if they're not aware, I'm not supposed to have this knowledge and not provide it to people, because if I don't, there are going to be a lot of people not aware. And we need to have people aware. We need to spread this stuff far and wide so that people can not only just listen to it, but go and check it and find out even more information for themselves. All I do is plant the seeds of the things that I've learned so that you can go back and water it with your own brain and come back with another idea or an addendum, add on to it, so that we can make things better, like come up with a solution for it as we talk about the problems. So that show is going to be about talking about the solutions as well as discussing the problem. And I want to make it fun and lighthearted. I'm sick of being mad at these people. We can't win if we don't think of solutions without them. They're relying on us to rely on them because they're empowered. They're in power of the government. They're not empowered of you, the individual. We, the people, can defeat a lot of this if we focus on we, the people, and stop focusing on the division and the groups that just love to divide us. We have to come to an agreement that we are no longer going to be divided amongst lines that they promote on TV and ads and shit of that nature. We need to talk to each other individually through these types of apps and talking to each other and commune with each other and come up with solutions without them. Because as long as we're isolated away from each other, they can just infiltrate and put in all kind of stupid shit and we'll believe it. And I'm done with the drama. I'm done with all that shit. I'm going to tell you about the truth, and then we're going to talk about solutions. So I'll continue making these videos about the truth, but I'm going to invite you to find solutions for them and not just keep them to yourself. Help each one of us, each one teach one, each one cares about one another, and we can be able to rise up out of this. Everybody's going to come out different ways. You know, you may make more money. You may be more successful. Who cares? You may be more happy. But if we don't care about each other, they can seep in and destroy everything that any one of us wants. Their problem is they never wanted us to be united. Our problem is we're too focused on them dividing us about things we don't like, instead of uniting ourselves around things we do. The core things that we want. Economics. You want to be able to work a job, come home, spend time with your family, your dog, your kids, whatever it may be, and enjoy life. Have a good quality of life. Have some insurance. If your kid, yourself gets sick, you can go get taken care of, get your little medication, come back home, get healed, get back to life. Instead of worrying about, like, oh my God, if I go to the doctor, like, it's going to cost me $10,000 and barely can pay the rent. Now, we got to come up with solutions for each other, not what the government decides for us. That's the way I see it. And if any of us have means, we got to start thinking about how we can be leaders without having to be politicians. How can we care about one another without having to be all up in everybody's business? So I'm thinking of ways. Hopefully you can think of ways. But when I start Avid Solutionists, it's going to be fun. Put on your fun cap. If you are a person who likes to think, you're cerebral, and you always think of new ideas and how to fix things and new technologies and all that, come with it because we're going to have fun with it. That's what it's all about, sharing the things we love and care about and solving them and fixing them. All right? Yeah, we're supposed to be united. Good night, DJ. Be brilliant. Take care. All right, ladies and gentlemen. That's about all I have for y'all today. I appreciate you guys and all the love you guys share amongst each other. I see you guys talking to one another. Much love about that. We got to care about each other, because if we don't, no politician is really going to care about the people like the people should be caring about each other. We got many groups of people out here that will help each other and do certain things. We need to start making that work. What'd you say, Swift Returns? That cash tips without tax is a way to launder money. Yeah, we know. Up to $25,000. But there's so much going on. But, we're going to try and fix it, take care of it. But who we got? Mark D, thank you for being here. Swift Returns, thank you again for being here as well. DJ, I know you're gone. Much love to you if you hear this. You have a great night. Be safe. Who else we got? Alice Early. Would you say DNC and RNC are full of it when Americans need them? 100%, Alice. That's why the people got to figure out something and be organized. What's up, Michael McCullough? Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Who else we got in here? All my members, I'm giving you love as I see you. And for regulars, thank you for stopping by as always. Let's see. As I get to the top, am I getting close? Rude Independent Janet, thank you for being here. I see it. I don't know if you're still here because I haven't seen a comment in a minute. All right, I see it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, y'all have a great night. Be safe. I'll be back here tomorrow, Friday, around 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. Hope you guys have a good night. All right, y'all take it easy. As always, I'll see you when I see you.